comments? Join us live right here on the Fear Fishing Experiment. experiments? Join us live right here on the Fear Fishing Experiment.
Tonight on the Fear Fishing Experiment, success from deer camp, a good hunting and fishing buddy's worth more than its weight in gold, and what are they going to do about the salmon run in the Ganaraska? Are they going to close it or should it remain open? This and so much more coming up next on the Fear Fishing Experiment. I'm Ian West. Welcome to the Fear Fishing Experiment. Tonight, very special Remembrance Day.
Yes.
Yes, today is Remembrance Day. That's how we're starting off the show tonight. It is a pretty big thing to be Canadian on a day like today.
It's huge. You know, every little town has their own services, and well-deserved, too.
When this morning when I was dropping Amber off at the chiropractor, the gentleman from the Legion, my dad's a member of the Legion, we're setting up the reefs and everything downtown Port Hope. And I was thinking, if those old boys didn't get out of bed and go and do all this, who would?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
And super proud of my pops, too. He actually led the Oshawa parade in his United Nations fair, which was pretty cool and pretty darn cold, I would think, too. No windshield, no heat. So, yeah. And I said, "What? Oh, Dad, that's terrible." He said, "You know what they tell us? Well, the soldiers did that."
Is my mic on there, Woody?
You can do it.
Yeah, something's all wonky with the mics.
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
yeah.
Never ends.
Never ends.
But Remembrance Day is a big thing in my family. I can remember my grandfather telling me about his oldest cousin passed away in Holland, stepped on a landmine, and he could remember them coming to the farm to tell his mother.
Can't imagine.
About the sad news. And actually, Craig's old man, Graham West, was flew Spitfires in the Battle of Britain.
That'd be cool. Well, not cool, but...
Yeah. Pretty cool.
He did that at a pretty young age, too.
17. He lied. There we go. That's way better.
Yeah,
17. My old man, my grandfather lied. He is actually, I believe he got to fly airplanes at Buttonville Airport, just outside of Toronto. So he had some piloting experience, and he went down, signed up, lied about his age. He was over in England flying Spitfires.
Wow.
Yeah, and he didn't talk about it. Craig doesn't know a whole lot, but... I do know that when we were cleaning out my grandmother's house, there was a whole ton of memorabilia and medals and stuff and the whole 9 yards.
Oh, and to the young folks out there, that's what they call courage.
Yeah, you know what? I was thinking about that. Yeah. I was thinking about that today, how lucky we are as Canadians. I was on my way deer hunting today, and I thought how lucky I am to do this. Like, I don't have to stop life and go overseas or anywhere to put my life on the line for the country I love.
Like, I know in some countries it's mandatory. As soon as you reach a certain age, you have to.
Yeah, lots of countries
to enlist for a year or two.
A year of service.
Yeah.
Yep. It's not uncommon. They should do it in every country.
So yeah, it's I'm awfully proud to be Canadian on a day like today when you remember everything that was sacrificed and
I'm proud every day but Election Day.
Yeah, kind of true sometimes. You know what? Close to home here in Trenton is the air base. So
yes, it is.
Shout out to those guys. They're close to home. See them all the time flying missions. Remember we saw them at the FLW during pre-fishing?
Oh, they're always buzzing over those big Hercules.
We saw them jumping out of airplanes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Leave us alone.
You're nice and loud.
Yeah.
I can hear you.
They were looking at your spots.
Oh. Yeah. No, we seen those guys doing a bunch of different
Jumping out of
training
airplanes.
missions. Yeah, we seen.
Well, I
some
never
guys,
seen anybody jumping out.
We did.
Yeah, we seen three guys jump out, but they flew over a couple times and they dropped the cans with the flags out the back
Yeah.
of them just to check the wind.
Yeah.
And they did that twice. I think they did that.
Yeah, and then out they came.
Then 3 lucky guys.
And then landed
got
at the base.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Scotty Walton, shout out to Scotty Walton, just got his new duplex, texted me.
Yeah,
I don't
nice.
even know if that was public news, but it's out now. He used to live right beside the air base, and I was there dropping rods off one day, and they had the fighters up.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
They're loud, eh?
Gives you chills. doesn't
You
it?
know what? They aren't loud when they're coming to you. It's when they pass you. When they're coming to you, you can't hear them at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's unbelievable. Like, it's eerie. Because you can see this plane, but as soon as he passed you, it's beyond loud.
Yeah.
The other thing is when they turn, they almost look like they stopped in the air and made a 90-degree. Like, it was insane.
Oh, yeah, they're pretty.
What they were
pretty
doing.
wild.
So, shout out to those boys. My buddy Jimmy Lido too. He served. Good dude that I grew up with him.
Well, our buddy
He's a
Mike
super
there,
good-
he's his dad was a chopper pilot out of Trenton.
No way.
Right?
My
Mike
buddy
Carnegie.
Adrian
So-
served in Canadian Army.
Yeah. So
yeah,
he-
shout out to all my buddies.
Yeah.
You know, it takes, especially in this day and age, there's still people giving up everything to protect us. Do you know what I mean? Like people signing up, and it's not for everybody, but I'm glad that people do it.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like it just, I felt really lucky today when I was going hunting. That I get to go hunting and I get to do fear fishing because of sacrifices other people had made.
And that maybe this is a good segue. Look at all those people out there with guns that are hunters and not one mass shooting. What does that tell you?
Yeah.
It's
Canadians
not the
are good.
hunters.
Canadians are good dudes.
Yeah.
Canadians are good dudes. So we're rocking our poppies tonight. We're gonna have a great show. Exciting. What do you guys want to talk about?
Doug Crawford wanted to thank Ian for his advice for his big buck he got today.
Yes.
There you
Shout
go.
out to Doug. He got a 10-pointer, his first year ever. We were chatted this morning. I went hunting tonight. I'd never seen a thing, but you have told me about hunting storm fronts.
Yeah,
And-
we like to hunt the storm front.
I rushed up there. I did see some deer. There was some deer standing on Mark's bait pile, but I was telling Mr. Doug Crawford today about hunting storm fronts, and if you're going to go hunting, tonight's the night.
Yep.
She was just pouring down the snow out there, and he got his first buck. Congratulations.
I'd like to see a picture of that buck.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I would too. I like seeing pictures of big bucks. Anyway, now that we got the Remembrance Day done, talked about, if you're watching, hit that share button. Give us a like. Hit subscribe on the YouTube. Get your questions, comments in, all that good stuff. We got a ton to talk about tonight. And Amber and Sean got the messaging boards going. You got anything? You look like you want to talk.
No, I'm experiencing more difficulties.
Are you serious?
Oh, no.
Yeah,
We got
No
the
way.
new super speedy internet going
Yeah.
on.
I'm gonna try my Facebook or my iPad again, but
Really?
yep,
We can use mine. Mine's going ultra smooth here.
good times.
Nothing of yours ever works.
No.
Are you on? Are you doing the Facebook jam?
I am doing. Sean's doing Facebook.
I'm doing
Oh.
the Facebook jam.
Here, maybe it'll work specially. What do you want to talk about, Mark?
Let's talk about hunting season,
Let's do
deer
it.
camp,
Here you go, Amber.
I got it.
and the great
works,
opportunity
huh?
that we're blessed with this year.
It has been an amazing year. We see more deer this year than we've
Hold
seen.
on a second. Now,
Okay, well,
now
where do you want to start?
what's the name of this fancy camp you guys go to? Because I was there.
It's the
got-
Diamond
you got-
Dave.
Diamond Dave's Ponderosa.
Ponderosa.
That's what the hunting camp's name, Diamond Dave's Ponderosa, just on the north shore of Rice Lake.
What a property. Beautiful.
What a property.
Beautiful, beautiful.
So when did we go up there?
The first time?
No. So we hunted October, and October is good for
We
does.
saw.
We saw tons of deer.
Yeah.
Between probably the least I saw in October was probably 5 one night, and the most we seen like 15 or 16.
Oh, yeah. I seen
Just-
more the first night I was there than I did the last season, like live. Like
Unbelievable.
not talking just cam pictures. I'm talking like in person.
Unbelievable how many deer. So opening of shotgun was Monday.
Yes.
I went up Monday night. I stayed till Wednesday. You came. So you weren't even going to come
No.
originally.
No.
So Monday night you stopped by to visit with the boys.
Yeah. I couldn't hunt. I had to work, but I still wanted to, hang out with the boys, chat.
Tuesday.
So I came up Monday.
Tuesday we go hunting. Tuesday we go out. Not a lot happened. Big Diamond Dave himself says we got to move tree stands. Moved a couple tree stands. We moved one to Dave pulled a tree stand out of the woods. Like, I mean, legitimately a ladder stand out of the woods. Like, Dave has them placed on the ground all around the farm in case we need a tree stand. Mm-hmm. Tons of tree stands. More tree stands than one man could ever need. Says, we're going to move it to this pinch area. This is a great story, actually. So we move it down. I got low chain on the seniority, so I'm the man who climbed the trees all day. We had Adam, who we met.
Well, now I know you can do it.
Well, Adam.
Thanks, Dave.
How do you think our?
No. Hold on, my hemochromatosis, guys.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, how do you think I've been moving them for the last 4 years?
I'm going to spit along here.
Just when you and I go, you're lower down the seniority chain than I am. So I got up there and moved them all. Adam, who we met at Dave Camp, one of Dave's best friends.
Yes. Yep.
Ponderosa card carrying member. We met him, so he hunted with us for the 3 days. Adam found a burgundy strap in the bushes that we used for this tree stand. So when we got there, we had named it the Burgundy Stand, like Ron Burgundy, so that everybody knew what we were talking about.
That's why. Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the interesting part. Adam Adam was only supposed to hunt Tuesday morning, then he had to go home. So Adam hung out. And you know when somebody needs to go home, but they've decided that they're staying?
Yeah, but they haven't told anybody yet.
Happens to me all the time.
Happens to all of us.
They're just kind of dragging. And so Adam had to go to Belmont Lake because he's building a house there. And then a couple hours later, after we got the stands up, he only had to go to Norwood. So he was like, he left to go to Norwood, and then he was going to get into his stand. Dave made the old switcheroo, and Adam had called the stand, and Diamond Dave decided to slip in that stand on him. So when Adam came, and I was in mine, and Crothers was in your stand.
Mine, yeah.
So we start in the group chat. Adam starts yelling at Dave to get out of his tree. So what does Adam do? Adam decides that he's good and close. He's going to sneak into the Burgundy stand. I've been sitting in my tree. Crothers and I are talking, and all of a sudden we get a text message from Adam that says he's here. So if I'm north, 4 does that come in on the right hand side, walk by the camera. The big 9-pointer got up out of the big long grass, looped around, got wind of those does, walked right out in front of Mr. Adam at 20 yards, and he just happened to have a muzzleloader on him. We heard the bang. Crothers and I were Crothers and I started texting in like just in between ourselves so that we didn't bug Adam because we knew this was happening. When that bang went off, Crothers and I must have texted each other 100 times of like high-fiving, so excited. So we get out there, and Crothers and I rush over to meet Adam.
Diamond Dave.
Hold on a minute. You and Crothers didn't rush anywhere. You walked out into the middle of the field where deer was.
Talking to us.
So there was I was like in the swamp. So it got way darker in there than it did out in the fields. You had called me, and I didn't answer the phone, so I packed all the stuff up, and I was walking out, and I decided to walk across the field because Crothers got out of the tree stand because his poor back hurt from our stand. And he was on the ground, so I thought he must be walking out. So I called you, and I was walking across the field, and I walked right into a buck. I'm like, oh, my God, there's a buck, Sean. I have to call you back.
I'm like, well, shoot it.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
It was just a little button buck.
Yeah.
But, yeah. And then
Still cool to see.
Still cool to and I was probably walked 20 yards before I looked up, and there he was standing there looking at me. And so Crothers and I jumped in the truck, and we went and met Adam, and it was one of the coolest experiences. When we found Adam, the bucket ran maybe not even 30 yards and crashed in the bushes. We got over there, and Adam could hardly talk. Adam's a very talkative guy, and he likes to laugh a lot. Mm-hmm. He was real quiet, and he hadn't walked up to the deer yet. He knew he was down, knew where he was, but he was having that. And this is the biggest buck Adam's ever shot. And how do you explain when you're like overly excited that you can't get the words out? Like we went over and congratulated him.
Speechless.
He was stiff. he was like as stiff as a board, right? He wasn't saying anything. And then me, Adam, and Crothers went over and we got the buck and dragged him out on the path, and like then it was just party time.
So Diamond Dave's nowhere to be found because he had a dead cell phone. He didn't even know a buck had gone down.
No idea. And there's so many duck hunters around us.
Yeah.
You may hear 50 or 60 shots a night. Like
oh yeah, we heard them all night.
We hear them all the time. So Dave had no idea what was going on.
That's right.
So Dave is late to the party. Adam and me and Crothers decide to play a joke on him. So he pulls up in the side-by-side, and the three of us stand in front of the buck. And as soon as he gets out of the side-by-side, Kyle goes, "Hey, Dave, we're going to need your doe tag." And Dave goes nuts.
No, you're not having my doe tag.
Yeah, he like real excited. Dave got overly excited, and then he came over and saw the deer, and he was like, "Oh my God, it's a giant."
Yeah, wicked story.
So you guys came out that night.
We did.
Yeah, well, Carruthers. Well, we knew you guys got shooting, right? And I called Mark and I said, "Mark, that's your camp, man. You guys got shooting." I'm like, you have to go. Like that's a huge part of deer camp, right? And for me, I know it is. Just to be up there and get a picture and be part of the whole
Shake
experience
the guy's
with the guys
hand that just took down a buck.
I said, I think we should go up. I'm like, get your balls out of your wife's purse and we'll go. Yeah. So Mark went to her and he was like, "Do you think I could have my balls?" She's like, "One. You can have one ball." He's like,
"And you're sleeping on the couch."
I'm gonna need them both because we're going to hunt camp.
Yeah.
So she gave him his balls. I picked them up. We got some KFC.
Yeah, that was huge because we were starving by the time we got it back to the camp.
Well, yeah, we figured you guys would be hungry, dealing with the deer and
Good
stuff.
old Kyle enjoyed it, eh? It's like 2 fists deep in that.
Yeah, he was in. But it was really, really cool to get up there and experience that with you guys.
Yeah, it was awesome. That was a heck of a night. And so Dave
and our timing was perfect because you guys were still field dressing when we got there, right?
So we got. I didn't ask if you guys were coming. I just knew you guys were coming, and this is going to kind of segue into our
kind of speechless.
No, I didn't even have to ask. I just assumed you guys were on the road. Like I just thought I wasted my time texting. Are you coming? I knew you guys were coming. So David had come up to me and he's like, "Did you text Mark and Sean?" And I was like, "Oh, they'll be here soon." And then I was like, "They'll be here." And he was like, "Really?" And I was like, "Don't worry, you don't need to text them. They'll be here in no time." So the big part of the night. This is the neighbor comes over.
The farmer.
Happy Rob?
Yeah.
The Rob, the farmer across the street does quite a bit of deer hunting. He shot some ginormous bucks over the years. So he has a trail cam picture of the one Adam shot with a ginormous buck that he didn't really want to show anybody.
Right.
Like it was top secret. Mm-hmm. So he had showed us, and Adam's 9-pointer is a big buck, and it makes, standing beside that one he had the picture of, it looks tiny.
It's a Boone and Crockett buck this guy has on camera, yeah.
Ginormous.
Boone and Crockett.
So you finally convinced him to show you the picture.
Oh, yeah.
Like it took quite a bit of.
Well, he pulled his camera, then he put it away, and then he put. I'm like, hey. I'm like, I'll show you one if you show me one.
Right? Yeah. And then you put your foot on his neck.
Yeah. So I showed him one, and then he pulled it out, and he was like, "All right, look at that." And he showed me a picture of it while it was in velvet, and I'm like, "Whoa!" I looked at him. I'm like, "That's a booner, man. Like
that's huge.
That's a 160. You take that with archery, you're going in the buck." He's like, "I know."
Yeah, right.
I'm like, "Well, get after it."
So he's across the street, which means that buck is somewhere in that area.
Oh, it's there somewhere. Yeah.
We'll see it. I haven't seen him on trail cam yet, but him. But 4 other shooters I've seen on trail cam. Right before Adam shot his buck, we saw an 8-pointer. You got the smoker. And then there's a 10-pointer that is less impressive than the other 3. Mm-hmm. He's a big deer, but
and what do we call him? Limpy deer? What's I
don't remember what we named him.
What we called him?
I really have no interest in any other deer on the planet after seeing that one in that guy's photo. As soon as I saw that one, this happens every year to me, right? Every single year I see this. And listen, if I see that one show up on any trail cam that I check out there, I am going to quit life and sit in that tree until this happens. He's huge.
I'll tell you something right now. Don't pass a deer today.
I wouldn't.
You would shoot tomorrow.
So we have a new rule. Since we're official card carrying members now.
Yeah, we are.
Everybody, and this is a big thing too, that everybody sat down in camp and has decided nobody's shooting anything under 8 points anymore.
Well, it doesn't have to necessarily be under 8 points.
Yeah.
You can't say that because there's some giant 8-pointers out there. You just got to manage your herd.
8 points
Right?
so that you can
no,
shoot.
No, it doesn't matter the amount of points on it.
Yeah.
Right? There's some bucks that you have to call out. Some with crazy racks.
Limpy or whatever.
You kind of want to take those genes out of the herd, right? You know, we got a call buck on the cameras right now that if it comes out, somebody's going to have to dump it.
Yep.
You know, you don't want to carry on those genes. But there's some giant 6-pointers out there.
Yeah.
Like giants.
Yep.
Right? So you can't just say, hey, we're not going to shoot 8-pointers. You got to look at like the year, like if they're at 3.5 years and
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, something like that.
These guys have never managed the herd at all. They're used to shooting spikes, does, whatever. Basically, it's brown, it's down.
Well, see, that's at our camp.
Yeah, we're going to manage them from now on.
Yeah, for the last little while now at our camp, we've really been managing the herd. You know what I mean? We haven't been taking, any does. Like we stopped taking does. I took a couple does a few years ago, and I really noticed the hurting it put on our property. The next year we didn't have as many bucks, we didn't have as many fawns. It really changed the property. I'm a firm believer in don't shoot the does. The does bring in the bucks, the does bring in the fawns. If you hunt out of the same stand year after year, you're going to condition those fawns and those bucks that you have a fall and winter food source. Right?
That's a big thing too.
That's huge. It's huge. Out of my stand alone, in the last 5 years, we've taken 12 good bucks.
That's crazy.
Right? And we put a lot of work in. Yeah, and one cute one. That was my buddy. Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, it was delicious.
Yeah, but hey, I was super blessed to be a part of your first buck, and that's a big thing too. Being able to be a part of
it
guys'
is way
harvest.
more than shooting animals. Like even if the buck is like a bonus.
Yeah,
it's the camaraderie. Now this kind of segues into our next topic about like your hunting and fishing buddies are on a whole other level.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I got friends, and then I got like hunting and fishing friends. Right? It's really hard to find friends of that level. Like I when those guys were like, I didn't even have to text you guys. I was like, they'll be here. Like, trust me. Like, if somebody would have hit something with the truck, they'd be here. Like, right? Yeah. They're just on their way. Like, there's no need to worry. And I was like, same with Mercer Marine. Andrew, anytime I ever needed that guy, I hardly had to get the sentence out that, hey, I need help, my tire's blown, and the guy's on the road. Marley's done a million things. Finding friends who you connect with on that, like, hunting, fishing level, even Adam. I've talked to Adam, I think, every day since. You just, like, as soon as you share an experience like that, you're just
experiences like that grow great friendships, I'm telling you.
There's another thing, Sam, who I met walking by my tree stand on the public land. I think it was 2 years ago I saw him.
2 years, yeah.
Yep.
And I just happened to be going in to feed. He had it was gun season. I had my orange on. He had his orange on. I went over there, and he was right underneath my stand. He was just walking by. He told me that he'd just moved here from Nova Scotia. And I was like, well, that's awesome, man. I'm not going to hunt this stand till after the gun hunt. You're more than welcome to use it. And a couple of weeks ago when he shot the buck in the shoulder and he was having a hard time finding him, he called me and he was like, I was going to ask him questions. I was like, what are you talking about? Come to my house. Well, I'll go with you right now. I called Crothers. Crothers, another guy who I've become extremely. I talk to that guy every day. He brought his dog, Hank, the tracking dog. And and he met me and we helped Sam look for his buck till 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Up and down and, And
what a lousy dog.
Yeah, Hank.
It's kind of like the dog that they had in Texas. Remember that?
I don't think it was the dog. I think it was the archer.
Yeah, for sure.
The same thing happened to somebody you knew a couple of years ago when you shoot them in the shoulder with the.
Yeah.
He said he pinged them right in the shoulder and they don't bleed.
Yeah, I told the guy as soon as he called me. My buddy Thomas said his father-in-law shot this giant, and it was a legitimate giant, the biggest deer he'd ever seen. He'd been hunting for 30 years, and I'm like, okay, send me a picture of the arrow. And he sent me a picture of the arrow. I said, put that arrow beside another arrow and send me another picture because the end was broke off. And there was 4 inches, right, with maybe, 1.5 inches of blood.
Yeah.
I said, he shot him in the shoulder. I said, I'll come up and we'll look for it, but we're not going to find it.
The same thing
Right,
happened.
I'll tell you.
Really,
I'll tell
They
you.
broke the
I'll tell
arrow
you
too?
right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, we had the arrow.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
all of it, or just
No,
I've
it's
seen it.
basically the exact same story.
Yeah, I've
Really,
seen it
eh?
too many times.
Wow.
It's not even worth. Don't bother pushing the deer. Just let him go. Like you're not going to find it.
Crazy.
Right. If anything, come back in the daylight. Take a look around the next day. Maybe you might have popped through the shoulder, and he might be, just bedded down somewhere. You may get a shot off at him, but don't bother going at night. Not if you get a shoulder shot. Just wait till the next day.
So
and get lots
we
of
had
light.
looked, and then you can tell the ethics of a hunter too. Sam got up the next morning and looked for 8 hours for a drop of blood.
Yeah, I wounded
Yeah.
a giant once, and I went for 3 days. 3 days, sun
Yep.
up till sundown. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, I was
Good on you, man.
Well, you owe it to the animal, right?
Yeah,
You got
for
to do
sure.
everything you can do. And it really bothered me that I wounded an animal. It really, really bothered me. And the whole thing was that I didn't have my shooting lane cleared as well as I should have. There was one branch. When I let the arrow go, I was focused on the deer, and as the arrow flew through the air, all of a sudden my focus went from the deer, and it went to this branch that just went boom, like this, kind
Yeah.
of swinging. And I seen the arrow just skip off target a little bit and hit him a little high, and I was like, no. And it was my own fault. It's you learn from these kind of mistakes. I went in there the next day and I cleared everything, like nothing was in the way. You're gonna make mistakes, but if you don't learn from them, you're a fool.
Yeah, for sure. And
That's fair.
Fishing's a whole lot like fishing and hunting are a whole lot. If you ever think you're done learning, you're crazy.
Oh, we got Andrew Vahey, our taxidermist.
Hey, Andrew.
He said, "Hey guys, I met Adam tonight. Great buck."
Oh, yeah.
Adam went and dropped off the cape we did.
Yeah, I've got lots of comments on your video
Oh,
Yeah.
go
Oh,
ahead.
and
Sweet.
how great Sean did. And
Yeah,
somebody
Sean, you did a
actually
great
said-
job. And
Yeah, well, usually for caping the deer, I like to take, you don't go up, you don't break the rib cage at all, right? You want to come straight around from.
So do you think like the way that deer was sitting when we got there, it was too high?
What do you mean?
Like when we got there to camp and you saw the split in the chest, do you think they had went a little too high?
we
or-
don't split the rib cage at all.
Yeah.
You just want to come up to the rib cage. You don't split the rib cage at all. That's where you want to go from, right? You don't need to. You if you're doing a shoulder, you just got to get dirty, man. You got to
So
get
answer
up
the
in
question:
there.
do you think you would have
I would
had it a little bit
I
lower?
would have not cracked that rib cage
Yeah.
1 inch. I
Yeah.
never do, and then I go right around from there.
Yeah.
Right?
Gotcha.
So
You know what I mean?
Fire those out there. Amber.
I think there'll be enough cape though still because you guys were only a few inches, right?
Yep.
I think Andrew will be able to do something with it because he's an amazing
I'm sure he will.
taxidermist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
You
the
know?
bucks that you and Miles have. He does an absolutely amazing work.
Well, we don't just get your regular bucks done, right? We get different kind of poses done. Like the last one I got from Andrew, I got it my deer with his head kind of tilted up and his nose curled back and his mouth open, like he's they call it fletching, and he's taking in scent. He's looking for does.
Hey, okay, I'll throw this. Is Andrew still watching?
Yeah.
I'm going to throw this out here right now. I'm going to shoot that giant. I'm going to bring it to Andrew. And this is what I want. I want it a corner mount for the corner of the room. And I want him for his heads down like he's smelling for does. You know that, like, when they get down and they put their legs
So he's
forward?
in like a full sneak with kind of his head tilted
when,
back.
You know when they get their front legs out and they get right down there smelling for does? That's what I want. Just like, so the mount's here, but I want him slightly headed down like he's, oh, yeah.
Yeah, Andrew won't be happy about it, but money talks,
That's
right?
you
Hammered
start playing
hooker.
this.
Hammered,
Whoa.
hammered hooker.
Like it. I like
Does
that
she have a number?
It's a he.
Must thank for the tutorial on caping a deer. I now know what to do. Call Sean.
Yeah. Well, I'll come out and cape anybody's deer. I'm just like that.
It
right?
is.
hear that?
The video turned out great. Like that segment, I knew. So I knew in like theory what to do, but it helped a lot to actually see somebody do it. I could do one down, no problem. But
I think I could do it too.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah,
you can.
yeah,
Sure
yeah.
you can.
But
You
it-
just watch one video and you can do it, right? But
Yeah.
just remember, like for next time if you're doing it, that rib cage, like with the start of that rib cage, like don't go up.
Ooh, I wonder if
through
we could get the
through
legs out,
rib
Amber.
cage.
get the legs in the mount, like he's coming right.
There's
Use it
lots
for
of
a coat
people.
hanger?
There's lots of people that get like half mounts with the legs done.
Yeah.
The one that's in the tailgate of the truck.
That's cool,
We
right?
almost had Adam convinced that was the one.
That's a super cool.
And he
mount.
has an old truck in his garage, I guess, that he was like, I'll maybe take the box off this.
Really.
Yeah.
No, it is cool.
But he's going to shoot a bigger one. So here's the other thing. Wednesday night, we go back to the stand, and Adam's party hunting now. He's filling our tags. He gets in the stand, and it was cold, slow hunting, and he messages and he says, here comes one with a rack. But it was just a little tiny guy. But he had us all like, as soon as he said that, all I could see was the drying coming down the field. I've been able to sleep at night. I go into my bed and I think about that deer. I'm not even kidding you.
It's so bad. He turns on hunting shows right when we're about to go to sleep.
You're
I'm like,
not the
really?
only one, man.
Every
Not
time I hear a
tonight.
branch snap, I'm like, here he comes.
Yeah, you're not the only one.
That was the dog.
Yeah.
I went and hung my camera last week. Usually I got a camera out super early, right?
Yeah.
But I haven't had time with all this stuff going on. And last week, first week of the gun hunt, all the old boys, we got old boys that go and hunt in our camp. And these are the old boys that got us into hunting. We got all the respect in the world for them. We had to go up to the camp, and we got to make sure the trails are clear, the stands are fed, everything's ready to rock and roll. Get the cameras up, make sure the camp's clean for those guys. And I just put my camera out, and it wasn't even 12 hours, and I got bucks on camera.
That's
awesome, right? Because I went back up, and
That's the big thing is like we've never hunted the same area twice.
No, we have
And
not.
you like that's like I'm learning more and more. My green dream job is to build food plots and to check trail camps. I absolutely love it. It is my favorite part of hunting. It's more fun than I think sitting in the tree or anything. I really like checking my trail cams. I really like learning new things. I really like feeding deer. I got
It's like
so
you're back
excited.
on the
Maybe you should
farm.
have a petting zoo.
I was just going to say, it's like you're back on the farm.
I like the hunting part, but I really, really like the preparation part, putting your tree stands up, being out there. I went, as soon as I saw the big picture of the buck the next morning, I ran to a hookup we have for corn, about 1,000 pounds worth of corn, loaded her in the truck, burnt her up to camp. I pull in and I showed Dave the load, and I had, I think, 17 or 18 bags of corn. Mm-hmm. He said, he said, I'm going to the stand. I said, well, which stand are you going to hunt? I'll go there and bait first, so it's out, and then I'll do the other 6. And Dave said, okay. And he said, you can put the extra corn in the trailer. And I looked at him. I said, there's no extra corn. I'm putting this all in. I said, well, when we need more corn, I'll go get more corn.
Well, here's another thing we can talk about too. We can talk about baiting.
Yeah.
Right now, what I like to do early season.
Yeah.
Right when there's no snow on the ground, I like to go and I will sprinkle. I won't make a pile.
That's what we did
That's
this
what we
year.
did.
It worked
That's what we were
way
doing.
better.
Yep.
Way better.
Yep.
This is
I
the great
like
advice.
to sprinkle in like a 20 yard by 20 yard where my pile's going to be, but I like to spread it all out. I think that this makes more deer be able to feel comfortable when they come in to feed.
Yes.
Also, if you have bears, they can't come in and just hoover your bait.
Your bait lasts way longer, too.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Way longer.
And I think we were talking with the Frenchman. He's a guy that owns property beside us at the camp. And he says, I've been watching for over the years, and I find that the big bucks will come in when the bait's almost dry.
Yeah.
And they feel most comfortable when the bait's dry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So I won't feed before I hunt.
Yeah.
I won't feed at all while I'm hunting.
Gotcha.
When I'm leaving for the week, that's when I'll go back out and feed.
Makes sense.
Right? And I don't care what time of day it is.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'll go up there at 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
I'll push them off the bait at 8 o'clock at night. I don't feel any way. I don't think I'd rather get them accustomed to people coming through the night. Than have them kind of say, okay, they're coming through the night. Maybe I'll go in the day if they think like that. I don't think it
I'd
bothers
much
them too
rather bump a deer like I did with you on the telephone, where they had a real good look at me in the middle of a field, than have one bust me in my stand. Right?
You don't want to get busted with you in your stand.
No. So those bump you like soft bump out in the field. They've seen John the Farmer a million times. No big deal to them.
Yeah.
They farmer is out in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Then they bump off. But you're making sense here that realistically, if they're used to Sean shows up, Sean's bumps us off. There's no threat here. There's just going to be food.
Mark's first deer, I used to be able to walk up, get into my stand, and that deer would just hang out. And he knew it was me. I'd be able to walk up and get within 20 yards of him, and he would just stay.
Boy, was he disappointed in you.
Tough hunt, eh?
But he never felt threatened by me, right?
Yeah.
Dave and I saw a deer coming back on Friday
On
from
the
the
four-wheeler.
stands on the 4-wheeler. We hit it with the lights, and we just caught it. So he turned the lights on it again, and it was a buck, and it took off like a deer in the headlights. Oh God!
Nate.
But boom! Can we do that?
That was
Woody?
terrible.
That was a bad joke.
That was terrible.
Wah, wah. No.
Yeah.
Nate says he's never hunted before, but he wants to start, and he wants to know if you have any advice on rifle, bow, or do I stand a chance on public land? And then he also has another question: how do you even start without a mentor?
Well,
We started without a mentor.
Yes, we did.
We had Sean.
Well,
that
we had
could
Sean, but-
the other thing, and when it comes to
Yeah.
the friend thing and how deep this run, Nick Pujik's helped me out a ton. I don't get to see Nick and talk to Nick throughout the summertime when he's busy filming and I'm busy, doing the fear fishing stuff. But during the deer season, 3 weeks before the deer season, I talk to that guy every day.
I've got the same kind of friends that I only talk to during hunting. Like, we're great buddies.
Yeah,
These guys
yeah.
could call me in April, tell me they need to hide a body, and I'd be the first guy there with a shovel, right?
Yeah.
But that's the only time
But
I talk to them
this is when
is
we're-
during hunting season.
Yeah. So I would find somebody. There's all kinds of nice guys, and I'm sure that if you had any deer questions, and I would tell you whatever I knew, or if you message Sean on social media, he'd tell anybody, answer your questions. But Mark and I like to bow hunt.
Yes, we do.
We hunted public land, and it just takes.
tough.
It's tough, but it's not impossible. You just have to put a ton of work into it. And you know what? There's a ton of public land throughout Ontario.
Yes,
like you
yeah.
don't have to just go-
iHunter app is probably the
Yeah.
best way. Yeah, look up iHunter.
And you can really don't be discouraged. I think hunting public land and being unsuccessful made me a lot more patient. It made me a lot quieter in my stand because these deer that we have now, you can bump them and then you'll see them 10 minutes later. When you're hunting public land, you're going to learn because you're not going to see that many deer, and you're going to sit for weeks at a time and not see any deer. But you got to work your way up. It's kind of like, do I buy a brand new bass boat or do I buy a starter boat? Well, you start with a starter boat, and then you buy your next boat, and then 10 years in the road, you get the big,
See, I don't necessarily agree with that in your theory on public land. There's a lot of public land out there.
Yeah.
We're
that
talking about
is-
We're
public
talking
land
like
that's
here,
within half
close.
an hour, 40
Well,
minutes of Port Hope,
you're
not
talking-
public land that's hour and a half away. That's a whole other ballgame. If you want to drive, you'll
right?
do it.
And if the guy's going to get into hunting, I would suggest getting into bow hunting. Just for the simple fact that your season is
longer.
way longer.
Yeah.
Right? You want to gun hunt?
More
you get
time
you
to
get
learn.
More
you get-
time to learn.
Yep, you get 2 weeks, and it's you're out there sitting with a gun, and it is what it is, right? But when you bow hunt, it's so much.
I got a
more
question
technical.
for you. A new hunter, would you recommend a compound or a crossbow?
I would recommend a compound bow. Get right into it.
Get right in.
If you're going to hunt late season and it's really, really, really cold,
Yeah.
it's a lot easier to get up into the stand with a crossbow,
Yeah.
right? So if you're a new hunter, maybe get both,
Yeah.
right? And because you're going to be, I think, a little more successful late season with a crossbow. It's a lot easier to get the bow up to your shoulder and and squeeze it off.
Compound
than-
bows takes a lot
than
of
to
practice.
sneak a draw, right?
Like you really need to practice a lot with a compound.
Yeah, you owe it to the animal.
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
practice, right?
Yeah.
For sure.
Like I shoot a lot for years upon years now. Mm-hmm. And but it wasn't it like now it's become second nature. It takes like a good 3 or 4 months to start to really get the hang of it. It's a very difficult thing when you first pick up a compound bow, even to pull it, because you're using these weird muscles that you don't use for anything else. And you like I've seen some big guys who can't pull my bow. I use 31 inch with a 70-pound draw. Can't pull my bow. Giant guys, but it's like weird muscles in your arms. So you got to first off, you got to start pulling something lighter for that. You start working these muscles because the first couple times you pull a bow, you're like, well, that's really awkward and weird. But then you get stronger and stronger at it. So I don't think a compound bow is something you can pick up today and be ready for Friday. You got to get some practice.
I would practice, but when I first got my bow,
Yeah.
I grabbed a Matthews. I was pulling a 60-pound draw, and with that very day,
Yeah,
I was pinwheeling stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was pinwheeling,
And I would
but
say-
I had some. I had
you're a
some
man's man.
amazing mentors.
Yeah, and this guy's is saying he doesn't have any mentor.
Yeah,
like
go
he's
to an
going, he's
archery
gonna
shop,
do. Yeah,
you know?
you got to learn.
Don't go to like somewhere that you're just going to buy one off the shelf. Go to an archery shop that's
for
going
sure.
to help you.
Go to
that you
East
have-
Hill, talk
Yeah.
to Craig Greentree or John
Yeah.
Logeman.
Yeah.
Right, those guys are like the gurus. of-
Green Tree is a beauty.
Yeah,
yeah, he is. Greener's awesome.
unbelievable.
And for another thing that we started doing this year that we hadn't done before is we actually practiced and sighted in from a stand.
Yeah, we had a stand set
Yeah.
up for a couple weeks where we could, when we,
could
showed
just-
up,
we
we
could
could
just
shoot out of the
practice
stand.
shoot.
That's
Practice shoot.
that's crazy important because
Yeah.
your bow you tend to have to aim a little bit lower on the animal when you're shooting from above it.
Yeah.
See, I use my rangefinder, and my rangefinder will actually tell me I have the ARC 1000.
Yeah.
It's a Bushnell ARC 1000, and it will tell me the degrees
Yeah.
of angle I'm at, and it will tell me it's 27 yards. Shoot it for 24.
Huh.
Right.
That's
And-
cool.
Yeah. It is neat.
Yeah, because of the trajectory of the arrow, right?
Doug Crawford's buck.
Oh, really? Let me see that.
The
Oh, good for him. That buck's got some nice mass to it.
Yeah, let's see it. Let's see it.
that's a good looking
Still
buck.
looking at it.
So I don't
It's
be
not a
discouraged.
video.
Sorry, I had to read that from Amber. Don't be discouraged. Hunting is absolutely amazing. Like if I never shot a deer, I have a great time.
Dude,
I enjoy this.
I never
more.
shot a deer my
Congrats,
first
Doug.
5 years.
I can't tell you how much fun. I wish and I hope in the vlog that's coming across how much I'm enjoying this. Like I really love to fish and fishing's like the bread and butter of my life. But I will be totally honest, other than opening day of walleye fishing and opening day of bass fishing and bass season, deer hunting is
It doesn't hurt you to put the boat away now, does it?
No, the boat.
I still haven't even winterized
there-
mine yet.
there's
we
eight-
got 4 inches of snow out
There's
there.
8 inches of snow coming down.
Yeah,
and
I know.
I just pulled the plug out of it yesterday.
right?
Yeah, like I can't tell you how much you're going to enjoy being out there. I was there tonight. I didn't see anything, but I'm really glad I was there. I was in the
It's so
snowstorm, and like
peaceful.
it's just I can't. And you're gonna have so many great moments, like the first time you see any deer at 100 yards, and then it'll be the time that it walks under your stand, the doe.
And you're going to have a whole new hate for red squirrels.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, you
Oh,
will.
we already have a hate on
Chipmunks.
for those. We don't like red squirrels at all.
And next year, since we're official cart carriers of the Ponderosa, we're going to do vlogs on putting the food plots in. We're going to do vlogs on checking trail cams throughout the season. And do you know what I mean? And we're going to talk to some different people, and we're going to find out more information on protein and what they need to grow bigger bucks and, more knowledge.
Well, a big thing, run your mineral site, right?
Yeah, we're gonna do the whole. Yeah, we're gonna go through the whole season next year, because now we have somewhere to do, and that's like the first 3 years we didn't have a choice to do any of that.
Yeah.
Right, and now we have somewhere,
Now
and
you can go and you can work on your
Something
food
we can
plot.
build on, right?
Yeah.
That's not going to be maybe destroyed or...
if you start and you go hunting, you're gonna have a whole new appreciation for these animals. As much as I'd like to kill a deer, I absolutely love deer. If I saw a deer drown in a lake, I would swim out there and save the thing.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Do you know what I mean? Like if I'm more than happy to spend tons of money on baiting the things and keeping them up. I had a great time in October, even though we just saw a pile of does. I really enjoyed them walking under my stand. I enjoyed seeing the turkeys. I saw fisher. I hate squirrels. I'm not a big fan of raccoons.
No, they eat a lot.
I saw some great Hereford bulls this year.
Yeah.
The white-faced red buffaloes. If you're not there, you're missing on what potentially.
All I can
could
say,
be.
buddy, is just don't think about it. Just do it, because obviously you got a little bit of interest, and
And-
it's going to be compounded huge once you get into it.
And you know
let me
what?
tell you.
It's like it is beyond drugs. Like I'm thinking right now.
Is it because
I'm
it
going to-
calms your brain when you're out there?
It's just...
Does it
I
stop
don't.
your
You know what?
ADHD
Maybe
from-
it is. Maybe. And I have bad ADHD. There's no. I don't feel. I feel pressure to fish. I really feel pressure when I get up and I'm going to go to such and such a lake to film a vlog. I really feel a lot of pressure to catch fish. I feel no pressure in the whole world to shoot a deer. Right? But
Well, it's
don't.
a different kind of deal, right?
Totally, right? Like I get up and fishing sometimes does stress me out. right? It stresses me out when I'm 2 hours into a new lake and I can't figure this out. And, then I start thinking, how am I going to edit this damn thing? And, like this kind of sucks. This wasn't part of the plan at all. And it wears on me by the September. Like, man, the burden starts the way. I go hunting. I have no expectations of, like I don't know. It's a different source for me. Like my goal is to show everybody how to catch more fish and how I catch more fish, or the experience of fishing. My goal in the hunting videos is basically to I want people to be able to appreciate fishing is my life, and this is what I'm doing when I'm not fishing. And I really want people to see that I'm not bloodthirsty. I really feel like this is the ultimate chess game. I'm happy if I'm someday, and this is how I see it. And maybe I have this like romantic thing in my head about all of this. Do you know what I mean? Maybe I have like this.
He said romantic.
Yeah, he did. He looked you in the eye too.
Maybe
Kind of
like,
weird.
Right in the eyes.
Anybody who really knows me is I'm a pretty emotional guy, and I'm a pretty deep thinker into things. I have it in my head that one day this buck is going to walk out of the woods, and as soon as I see him, I'm going to know this is my deer. And then we're going to do battle for me to get a clean shot and to kill the thing. And every time I go, I just feel like I haven't suffered enough, or I don't deserve for this to happen yet. But when it does happen, I would be totally happy. If I go tomorrow and I shoot that giant deer, the next I would be totally like I lost the first part of this, then I'm going to have a win. But I think that if I shot a giant deer tomorrow, I'd be happy just going for another 5 years until this happens again. Because I really...
No, you won't.
No,
No, you won't.
I really think that
you get even more pressure.
Maybe.
Because
maybe that's what it comes to, right?
I got a lot of pressure on me now because I feel like I have to seal the deal every year.
Yeah.
And I have to shoot more deer than my brother.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? We've been having this battle back and forth, me and him, for years now. Like, we'll go out and he'll shoot one, and I'll shoot one, and he'll shoot a bigger one, and I'll shoot another one. Right? You know what I mean?
He shoots
like,
giants.
like we've been battling. Last year I upped him. I got the bigger one last year. Like, I think the year before we shot 3 each.
Yeah.
But but the guys at the camp are like, those McCall brothers, man. They keep letting the air out of everything. Right?
I think that if I really believe that everything happens for a reason. I don't think that I would be in as much love with this 10 years ago as I am now. I've matured a little. I see things differently. I think that 10 years ago I'd have shot everything that I saw. Like the first little tiny deer that came in, I'd have been like, yep.
Okay, now let's talk about that for a second. Now, shooting everything you see, there's hunters out there that do that.
And I don't think I don't at all. But
right?
I think that that's not for me at all.
Right.
And that I wouldn't, it's not that I personally would not be happy with that. Right? And so why would I shoot that animal if I know personally that that's not what I want?
Yep.
It's not what I want at all. I want to shoot a big, old deer that's smarter than I am. So that when we do this dance, I can feel
accomplished.
Like that. So I really like the suffering part of this. Maybe this is why I like the meat eater stuff, because Renaud talks about this. I really like the suffering of deer hunting, not the suffering of animals, the suffering that it puts on me. I like that my tree stand's uncomfortable. I really like that tonight for the last 20 minutes, it's -10 out, I was freezing my butt off, but I didn't leave. I really like that pain that comes along with this because I appreciate the animal more. Like, man, I had to do 20 minutes. I was cold. That bugger's been going to be cold all night, right? Mm-hmm. I really like that my stand isn't that comfortable.
Really?
Right?
Because I just changed. I just put up the Hawk Pro.
Yeah, you did. For a day.
Yeah.
For level 1,000.
I really like that. I got
shit stand.
I got to say, I don't know. I really appreciate that part of it. Like that I'm going to sit here and it's uncomfortable and I'm not going to move and I'm going to outsmart you. And I don't care how long it takes. And if it doesn't happen this year, like January 1st, I'll be disappointed, but then I'll just be excited for next year.
Sure. Right?
And if it does happen, like, honest to God, I don't think that 10 years ago I would have been as excited for Adam as I was the other day.
Oh no,
I wasn't at that part of my life. And when Adam shot and messaged that he just shot the biggest deer of his life, I've never I was as happy for him like I had killed the deer.
Yeah.
I couldn't wait to get on my
You
stand.
get to see one.
I couldn't wait to get over there. I couldn't wait to film it. I couldn't wait to share it with everybody at home. I just have a different appreciation with that whole deal.
The night changed. The whole mood of the camp, everything changed when that shot was fired.
Well, it's like
'Cause now
success,
it's like,
right?
Yeah. You got something to celebrate now.
And maybe I don't feel pressure, but I certainly want to be the guy who shoots the biggest one at the end of this.
Talk about shooting the biggest one. Who's winning the Corey Chris buck bet?
I don't want to talk about that right now.
Corey.
Yeah,
We
Corey's
still have
winning.
to get those T-shirts signed.
Yeah, I got them
Yeah, you
too.
do.
We got to make
Yeah, we got those shirts.
Corey's freed up now.
Scotty
I think he's
Freeburn's
big
got a
one.
nice 10-pointer coming in. He's
Good boys. Scotty
Nice.
Freeburn's a good dude. I like
He's a
him.
great
Yeah.
dude.
I remember when he was in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a super
Nice.
great dude.
Off
You got
topic,
questions? We got anything?
Yeah,
You got
no,
questions?
no,
Yeah. Well, let's do some
we
question
got-
times, and we'll have a break, and then we're
Hard
gonna
to get a word in edgewise.
we're going to talk
Yeah,
about the town of Port Hope is going to try to close the river.
I've
And we're
also
gonna talk
had
about.
people asking about our thoughts on Don Cherry.
Here's my thoughts on it. And I'm not going to get deep into this. My thoughts are that everybody should wear a poppy. Everybody who is in this country is only so great because those men sacrificed their lives and those men went overseas and fought wars, and that the good folks are at the Trenton Air Base right now protecting us and making sure that everybody who's in Canada from coast to coast all the way up to Nunavut is a free person and can go
Safe.
and safe. They can go to do anything you'd like that doesn't harm anybody else. And I think that it's our duty as Canadians to wear poppy.
Well said.
That's how I feel about it.
Trini, 18. Off topic. Do you use beard oil? Your beard's on point.
With this beard,
He has a hairstylist that takes care of it. For
I
him.
do. I don't use oil. I don't use oil. I will admit that.
It's all the dopey you spray on yourself. That's what it is.
Okay,
Tell us
do
about your
When he
infatuation
came-
with
when
this
he
stuff.
came back,
I
from-
absolutely
he-
love the smell of dopey.
he walked into my salon, hadn't showered for 3 days, and just came back and smelled like dopey.
Are you like doe estrus?
Yes.
Or doe pee?
No estrus.
All right, you're a different cat.
He's a
I
special.
spray it all
special
over
kind
my
of guy.
boots, all over my pant legs. If you
Loves
open
it.
my box of it just reeks with
Dude,
it.
I seen him with a paper bag.
You
You know what you spray?
dopey.
I will drive home and have my hand like this and then be like, man, that smells great.
Jeez.
I love it.
Wow.
I absolutely
You're a
love it.
mess.
Well, I'm gonna warn you. Okay, I'm not gonna tell you something. I'm gonna warn you. Okay, you're gonna be walking back to your truck one night.
I've thought about
in the
this.
dark, and a big old buck is gonna come.
Well,
He's gonna have his way
That's
with you.
the way
It's
you're
going to
gonna
take
go.
a fancy to
I guess
you.
that's all part of the suffering.
Yeah,
You
Just
know what?
for the first few minutes.
Hey, you
he's
know
gonna
what?
love hunting even more.
Hey, at least I would have got to see him.
You should have a flare
You know what?
gun.
I hope I'm there to see that too.
I'm not even kidding. The
At
other.
least turn the camera
So
on.
I
okay?
had a thing of buck bomb, Dillon Heat, the other night, and I threw it in my pocket because I couldn't get it in my backpack. And then I stepped up to my first leg on the ladder stand, and it shot off in my pocket.
You didn't have the lid on it?
No, no.
Why would you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
lids.
so it goes off, and I reach across and I touch my coat, and it's soaked. And I gave her a sniff, and I said, "Good luck winning me."
Oh, true. It's good coverage. It's pretty good cover scent.
If anybody out there doesn't like the smell of that, you're crazy. You're absolutely nuts. And I've had a lot of different brands over the years, and I like the smell of them all.
Oh, wow. He is.
I'm gagging
You're a
now.
different buck.
Woody, I can send you home with a jar.
Nick
no thanks.
Winchester.
You'd never get rid of that.
Nick Winchester wants to know, as we head in towards the end of the hunting season, will you
Whoa,
Whoa.
it's not the end.
And
This midway.
be doing any ice fishing to pass the winter?
I'm going to hunt till December 31st. The ice is going to be sketchy until I'm not going on sketchy ice. I will guarantee all the folks at home, there is no way this cat is ever dying on the ice. I have an 8-inch roll. When I was younger,
But he'll go with a buck.
I would be happy to die with a buck.
On your back.
No problem. Listen. When I was younger, I would do the whole spudding out on the ice thing. I would do the thin ice job. I would do be the first guy out there. That is not for me anymore. That is not happening. I've got, like, if I see some skidoos and ATVs, that's when I'm going to start ice fishing. That is not the way I'm going out of this world. It happens to way too many people from every year. This happens to a ton of some anglers and some skidooers. Now,
Those people.
if a Boone and Crockett buck decided to rape me and kill me in the middle of a field, that would be national news, and it's going to happen to one guy. I could handle that kind of press. The YouTube channel blow up, you and the kids would be fine, and I'd be the guy who got killed by the Boone and Crockett. I hope I live and have some amazing scars.
Yeah.
That would be best case scenario.
Are you sure they're scars and not trophies?
Best case scenario. I would be happy to take my shirt off and have, like, this is where he got me with his G2.
Dave Barristow says that your romance is the dopey.
Yeah, it is.
Maybe that's where it comes from. Someday I'm going to, at the end of whenever I've had enough of deer hunting, I hope I get to a point in my hunting career in my 60s where I just go and sit at deer camp. I may cook people food, but
You'd love that.
I would just.
You should start your own hunting camp.
When I'm in my 60s, at some point I'm going to cook people food and I'm going to check SD cards and I'm going to put corn down and I'm not going to hunt.
I could totally
At
see
that
you doing
point,
that.
while everybody else is hunting, I'm going to write a book about deer hunting.
Yeah.
I'm going to write, that is my dream before I leave this earth. I'm going to write a novel about my idealism of my deer hunting. That's how much I love it, and that's how much I feel the need to share my very opinionated thoughts on this sport.
You're creeping a lot of our viewers out.
Why?
Is there going to be pictures in this book?
No.
I'm out.
No.
I need pictures.
This is going to be for educated people.
Is it going to be an ebook?
What?
Is it going to be an ebook?
Yeah, I'll
at
have
least?
Are you going to have somebody spell check it first?
Yeah.
The proofreaders have a lot to do.
Ian's going to
I don't know. I'm going to write it in my
voice
own
to
language.
text, and then I'm going to have to translate it for all you people.
I'm going to have Mike Tyson do the narration.
No, Snoop. He's way better.
Yes.
I'm going to write a book on this.
Yeah, I'll have to translate it for you.
It is going to be a really weird book about deer hunting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like a pamphlet kind of, or like
No,
a big
like
book?
a 250-page novel about my ideals about this crazy.
You better start writing now.
No. I'm going to do it at deer camp when
All right.
in my 60s.
Okay.
This is going to be my legacy.
It's going to be Ian's rantings when he's got
It's not even
Alzheimer's.
ranting. It's going to be a romantic novel between me
in
and
your head.
me and Buck.
It's like scratch and sniff dopey pages.
That'll be awesome.
Oh my
You
god.
get out the back. Cover.
Do the pine
That
scent
is a
needle.
great idea. So you buy the book and it'll be like vacuum sealed, right? And you can take the book to your tree stand and you scratch and sniff the back and rub it on your tree, and you're good.
Wow.
Pine scent. The cover should be pine
No,
scented.
deer and estrich, the real deal. That's what I'm going to name my book: A Deer and Estrich, the real deal.
A hunter in Estrus.
Copyrighted.
No, ma'am, my hands don't stink.
I got a question from Chris McCoy.
Fire it.
A question about calling while he's hunting. And what's your success rate versus sitting quietly?
Zero. That's such an easy number to remember, eh?
I like to rattle and I like to use my
Grunt tube?
grunt tube because I'd rather be a participator than sit on the sidelines.
That's my question too. I don't know really when to do the rattle thing, and
Well, mess
you know,
up. I
have no idea.
I did grunt in a very small a buck this year,
Yeah, let's hear it.
but I was just like messing around with my tube and like practicing maybe 2 weeks ago, and a little spiker come out of the woods to check her out.
Yeah.
And I was pretty impressed with myself. I thought,
I find that
Done
I
a
see
couple
more.
rattling.
I find that I see more deer in the morning when I rattle.
Yeah.
And grunt. In the evening, I tend to lay off the horns and I'll just use the grunt tube. Like last year, I grunted the 9-pointer right in, and
It's cool when they
So
do.
tell me,
I've had
like,
them
you don't
communicate.
see a deer at all, or you see one and then you grunt?
No, I'm grunting. I don't see anything, and I'm
No.
up here calling. Yeah, I'm using my grunt tube, but it's like a pre-rut kind of deal, right?
Yeah.
You know, you won't be out there banging your horns October 1st.
No.
Okay.
No.
And you won't be out there banging your horns December 15th.
Yeah.
You know
It's
what I
a
mean?
rut deal.
Yeah, it's a pre-rut deal. If you're going out and the pre-rut, you can spar with the horns. Don't smash on them
Yeah.
like they're fighting. Just lightly tickle them, right? You know what I mean? Just
I
a
get
couple
right
of beer.
into her. I pretend I'm a deer and how my
How
fight.
I would sound.
how
I do that too,
So
eh?
I'll be like, you guys want to hear? This is what I do, and I'm so embarrassed. I've never put it on video. So I got my grunt tube. I put it in my mouth. The first thing I do is let out a big long grunt. Like I'm ready to go. You know, like a couple guys out front of the bar, and I'm like, yo, what's up? Right? And then I softly give it a couple, like we just touched, like shaking hands, tapping gloves, right? And then I let out 2 grunts, and then if the party's on, I go hard, and I hit those bags as hard as I can. And then I stop dead, like I'd won the fight. Like the other bugger's been knocked out, and then I give her an extra long toot. And
You
then-
don't do the like the
No
what do they call
snort
it?
wheeze? Snort wheeze?
No.
No? You should
No.
try the wheeze.
No, I did scare
It
the
hasn't
living-
worked for me
So
yet.
I had the small 6 come out, and he got halfway across the field. The other, like a couple of weeks ago, and I got
Yep.
as soon as I saw him, I got the rattle bag out, and I went right to her. I've never seen a deer put the brakes on so fast in my life.
And
Look
jam.
up the hill and run for his life. And then I saw him about 4 hours later come out and try to like see what he ran from.
Yep.
But I
You scared him.
if you're looking to
Holy shit, there's a dude in a tree with a rattlesnake.
Yeah. Man, does he ever smell good?
here's my suggestion, and what I've learned, you're probably not gonna like if you're a shotgun meat hunter kind of guy who's just looking to shoot a deer to put some. I don't think you're gonna rattle in very many little bucks. I think that rattling is gonna
You think rattling's going to scare the little guys away?
scare
'Cause
the
they
little
think
guys.
there's a bigger thing going
there's
on
two
there.
big boys fighting, and the last thing I want to do is walk into that fight. I think that if you're rattling, and you're rattling hard and you're making a ton of noise, who's going to show up is a big dominant buck really looking to fight, not some like messed up 3-pointer.
Four-pointer, yeah,
He's
yeah.
not coming to that party.
I got some.
He may come and check
questions.
it out, but I feel like I like anytime I ever saw like little ones, they were like looking through the bushes, like they didn't come to the party. The Meyer Mike came twice to the party, like storming in, frothing at the mouth to fight, and couldn't find the deer to fight with. But he would like I feel that Adam's buck you could have called in. He was just covered in scars from fighting.
Yeah, he had
Yeah,
he had some pretty wild war wounds on the back of his neck.
Yeah, and
He was probably-
when you skinned him, he had some like
Yeah,
some
yeah.
bruises and puncture marks where
Yeah,
he'd been
yeah,
going
like
to
right
town.
in the
Like
back
right
of his
through
neck.
into the flesh.
Yeah,
I feel like that's the kind of deer.
I wouldn't be surprised if he got in a tussle with the big boy.
Yeah.
eh?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
So I feel like
look at
that's
the
good.
location of them, right?
Wait, if you're, and I've watched this in YouTube videos of other people's. I saw a guy who they were just trying to shoot a smaller deer, like it was a subsistence, like subsistence hunting video.
What?
Like
What?
somebody who was living off the land and they were just looking for a deer to like a year and a half or 2-year-old deer. They were looking for meat, not trophies. They had a rattle bag. They took a whole bunch of the sticks out, so it sounded like 2 smaller bucks fighting or sparring rather than the whole bag where it sounds like a couple 10 points going at it.
Yep.
Right?
When you start rattling, you go kind of softer, like they're just kind of.
Only twice. Only twice. Like
Depends on the time of year.
I did watch a show and they were talking about if you do it quiet at the start, if somebody is right there that you don't see, you may get them to stick their head up or take a step forward. Because if you go right to town on it right away, you
They're
probably
gonna jump
spook.
right out.
You're going to scare the snot out of them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think there's any wrong way. I think it's a whole lot like fishing. You could tell somebody how to flip a jig. You could tell somebody how to flip a jig. I could tell somebody, it's all going to work at a certain day and a certain time.
I've watched a lot of videos on rattling, and there was this one guy I remember watching. This guy, and he professionally calls deer in for
Yeah.
people, like he's a guide and that's what he does. He's on the ground, he's banging horns, he's breaking branches, he's snort wheezing, he's making a ruckus.
Yeah.
Like kicking leaves, stomping his feet, smashing the horns on the ground.
Yeah, I seen a guy like that smashing them on the tree to
yeah.
start.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I'm talking giants.
Really?
Coming out. Oh yeah.
I think it's all. I think that calling deer is a whole lot like fishing. It's whatever you're confident in.
Well, you think about it. You think about two deer fighting in the woods. It's not just going to be banging horns.
No.
Like
I don't think
they're breaking branches. They're kicking leaves. They're
Sure they
making like they're fighting.
Mm-hmm. I that is one of the things I'd really like to see. You know the song "Enter Sandman."
Yep.
If I ever catch a buck, walk out like the bottom of the field and one walk up at the top, I am going to edit it to Enter Sandman. And it's going to be, I think about it every time I hear that song. You know, like it opens up. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
And then like it's like the bucks walking across the field. And then when they start, it's like the challenger showing. And I want so badly in my lifetime, they'd like have them show up and meet and just go right to it. That would be bad. Oh my God. Like, I want to see them right
We've
down.
had a lot of time to figure out what you're going to do when you
Oh
get
my
right?
goodness. I think about this all the time. Every time I see a decent buck, all I can think about is where's the second one? Where's the challenger? That's all. Like that's all I want to see. Do we have a lot of questions?
Do you want another question?
Let's take a 3-minute break. Everybody can go get a beverage and a pee. We're gonna come back. We're gonna talk a little bit about the Ganaraska River and the salmon fishing. You read the article today about that, right? Mm-hmm. You'll be able to fill everybody in, and we'll do all the questions and comments that everybody wants to do. Just give us 2-3 minutes.
Three. I got to pee.
I got
Yeah.
to pee
Gotta
too.
pick
I'm going
We're
first.
going to need 4.
Who doesn't like to come home and get fishing stuff in the mail? The RLM Elite Box from Simple Fishing is just that, a bi-monthly subscription order with the most hard baits. They have a pike box, bass, walleye, and a multi-species box. Your RLM Elite Box comes in the mail every second month, and it is jam-packed full of the best lures in fishing. Doesn't get more exciting than coming home and finding your subscription box jam-packed with all the baits you need to catch fish. All you got to do to get your own, go to simplefishing.ca. Use discount code FearFishing and you'll save $10 on your first box. I promise it's going to help you catch more and bigger fish. That's Simple Fishing. Discount code FearFishing. Mike Carnegie is a financial advisor at Northstone Wealth, providing insurance solutions that protect you and your family. Investment solutions for all your needs, like your kids' education and your retirement. Get good advice from a good guy and also a fellow angler and trusted member of the FearFishing family.
Hi, I'm Mike Carnegie. If you want a little direction, give me a shout. 905-925-0663. See you on the water.
How did the Jack Lynx people find me? Look at this. Look at all the Jack Lynx. Just arrived on the water, loaded up for the rest of summer. Cases and cases of Jack Lynx beef jerky. I think we're ready for a little fall fishing. Nothing better than jerky and fishing. We officially made it to deer camp. We got our hunter orange on. Ashman, you got your hunter orange on?
Yeah.
Under Armour camo coat. You having fun?
Yep.
Are you excited?
Yeah.
What's the first chore we got to do?
Get the camera.
We're going to go check the trail cam at the Burgundy stand. This is where Adam shot his big buck. So we're going to go check the trail camera, and then we're going to go to deer camp and see the big buck. Okay? Okay, we're going in. We're going to try to be quiet. In and out. See what's at the old Burgundy. Yeah, we are really close. Let's go, man. Are you ready? All right. Ashman and I just checked the trail cam at the Burgundy stand. Another buck showed up, but he's a small one. He's kind of messed up antlers. 1.5 year, old deer, no big bucks. Dude, did you see all the deer on the trail cam?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, did you see the buck with the antlers?
Yeah.
The little guy?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, are you ready to go deer camp and see a big boy?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go do it. Hey,
Let's go.
let's go. Dude, we're at deer camp. Did you see the big deer?
Yeah.
What'd you think of him?
Yucky. He's
Yucky?
Yucky.
You didn't think he was pretty cool?
No.
Are you going to get one?
No.
We're not getting one now?
Fine, we're getting one.
Are we getting a bigger one?
Yes.
That's the key, eh? Ashton seems to think the gutted deer is yucky. I think it's pretty cool. Dave, we're going to check more trail cams.
Yes.
You hunted this morning?
Yep.
Slow?
Slow,
But-
beautiful morning, cold, crisp.
You went over and checked Mark's spot,
Yeah.
and the baits got annihilated.
Oh, it's insane.
It's
the
insane.
amount of tracks is insane that are over there.
You sent us a cell phone video, and it really looks like a barnyard.
Yeah, it does. They literally have been walking. It looked like they've been walking around there for 3 days.
And I just put that bait out
And you
last
put
night.
it out last night.
Not even 24 hours
No,
yet.
not even.
Crazy. We're gonna go check more cams, and hopefully we see a big buck. We got one buck who's got kind of weird antlers. Not what we're really looking for. So we got to keep searching. Let's go. Trail cam number 2 is checked. Absolute. There's quite a few does, but there was another smaller buck. It looks like the little 6-point that we saw in the field a couple weeks ago, but there's a lot of deer pushing around. There's a lot of deer moving. Dude, are you having fun playing in the snow?
Yeah.
We don't have any snow at home, eh? And guess what else you missed on the way in?
A deer.
I know. We were walking in and Dave and I saw a deer pop out. Craziness. Pandemonium in the woods when that rut starts. Hey, you, let's go orange. Ashton's in rut. Listen to him breaking branches. It didn't record any. It hasn't recorded anything since the snow came down.
I can tell you there was some here.
Yeah, Mark's cam didn't work, but let me tell you, see those deer tracks? There's been deer here, and a lot of them. And there's a giant set coming out of behind Mark's stand, so maybe a
Navigating
big
your
buck.
way on and off the water. Now, here's your host, Ian West.
Hi, folks, that's me. If you're listening on iTunes, subscribe and give us a 5-star. You're going to give us 4? Go the hell home. YouTube, hit subscribe. You know the drill. Facebook, give us a like. Questions, comments, get them in for the second half of the show. We're going to get them caught up right now. Before we jump there, take your kid hunting and fishing. You guys watched a slight part of the vlog there. Took Ash out. He manned it up. He sat in the ground blind for 2.5 hours in -10 weather. Had a good time. Hung out with everybody. I know it's kind of a pain in the butt to take your kid hunting and fishing. It really is. They're not as patient as us. It's hard to keep them busy. Bring them snacks. I let Ashton play on my cell phone his games while we were sitting in the ground blind when he got bored.
That's where all the data went.
No, he played Sonic. No, I feel like the data was eaten up in Pennsylvania. Bring them hunting and fishing. Even if, you know what? Sometimes I take Ashton down the river for 40 minutes. Mm-hmm. But you got to get them introduced. Don't do crazy things like take your kid way up north for 5 days to sit in a tree stand for 12 hours a day and see 2 deer, because he or she is probably not going to go back. Make it a little more exciting. Take them fishing. Ashton likes driving the bass boat around more than he likes the actual fishing spot. So sometimes we just go out for a day and we fish for 10 minutes and drive around for 20. Fish for 10 minutes, drive around for 20. Get them outside. That way, when they're teenagers, they're interested, and then you can keep moving them up the chain of command. Questions, comments, Amber.
Yeah.
You ready? You got anything?
I just gave you the beard oil.
No, that's it.
Yeah.
Really?
You were creeping out the viewers the last one I got.
I got some.
Yeah?
Yeah, I got some. Hold on a second. Where did it go?
Oh.
Wait. Whoa.
You should write these down like Amber's does.
I should. So for river fishing right now, this time of year.
Yep.
What's hanging under your float? Roe or flies?
Row right now, and flies in January, February, March kind of deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's another problem. The steelhead aren't coming in at all. If anybody, I haven't been steelheading because all I keep hearing is that there's no fish. I heard from somebody that they fished Saturday and Sunday and never saw a single steelhead caught in the Ganaraska.
Mike Giskrick asked right at the beginning what determines trout coming into the creeks this time of year and later, and how do you know when it's a good day to hit the creeks?
Overcast, south winds. Sorry. I just have to send Brandon Polnick messaged me. They don't wear poppies for Veterans Day in the United States.
Oh, it's a Canadian thing.
I thought so. And an English thing, you said.
I think it's an English thing. I'm pretty sure I saw a thing on the news from France. I believe they were wearing poppies, or some of them were anyways.
So
Crazy.
I'll get back to that. The question, what? I'm sorry. I totally tuned out on
What's
everybody.
the best times to go? Like, what's your indicators?
South wind blows on the North Shore, blows the waves up. They'll come in on that. The other thing is overcast days. Steelhead aren't real big fans of like a bluebird, no wind kind of day. Overcast, rain, snow.
The miserable days.
The miserable days. Kind of like deer hunting. Those are usually the best days. You get some rollers into the Guinea. But for some odd reason, this has been like the 5th year in a row where fall steelheading sucks. When I was in my early 20s, it was 20 fish a day for a month and a half. I loved fall steelheading on the Ganaraska down in the trench where we went way more than I like for spring fishing. Like it was like unbelievable. I used to work midnights. We got off work at 6 a.m. I drove from my work down to the river, and in an hour, 10, 15 fish every morning.
Wow.
Go sleep for a bit, get up, back down the river, do a couple hours down there before dark, another 10 fish. And I heard this weekend they caught nothing. Zero.
So the Ganaraska, that's the river that runs right through downtown Port Hope.
Yeah.
There's a lot of controversy going on with that right now.
Yeah.
What's the deal with that?
Well, basically what's happened is they've tried to fix it for the past 4 years. Nothing's worked. So now they're talking about closing it.
Closing it. August 15th till September 30th.
September 30th, yep.
Which would coincide with the legal. The municipality of Port Hope owns all the shoreline, so they can do this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that. Okay, so there's a lot of poaching that goes on down there. There's a lot of things that this town doesn't need, but deep down inside, if I didn't have that river to go to when I was a kid, to fish after school, because my dad fished, but my dad would do like one day at Simcoe for perch fishing, and then a couple days at the cottage, and then if I was really lucky, maybe one trip to Gorse Landing to fish for walleye in the fall. Like that was the extent. Or in the summertime, we might go to the mouth of the river and catch some catfish. If I didn't have that river open till September 30th to go fishing down the river, I wouldn't be as in love with fishing as I am today. And I feel like a whole bunch of people are wrecking it, or a whole bunch of, I don't even want to call them anglers, people who can't respect the laws of Ontario and snag fish and keep them and cut their open and make a mess are wrecking it. And there's got to be a couple kids in this town. There's probably a couple kids from other town, teenagers who got driver's license, who this is their only opportunity to fish. And I think by closing it is the easy way out for this town and the MNR. I don't understand why the penalties aren't stiff enough that it stops people from doing this.
You need a good old-fashioned lynching.
Yeah, you do. You need to ring somebody right out for it.
Somebody
Take their
needs
car,
to
take their house.
The whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
So
So
here's
is it
my
possible
opinion.
to get somebody from the MNR to explain why the penalties aren't?
No.
It's the courts.
So here, this is what it should be. In my opinion, if you get caught, let's say you get caught with snag salmon and a bunch of roe, because legally you can only have your possession limit and roe at your house.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be enough for me to fish for 5 years, right? Some people feel the need to load their freezers full. So here's what I would like to see, and this is what you should do, MNR. And all you're gonna have to do is bust a couple people, and this is gonna change. You go down there and you write the gentleman a ticket for snagging. If he's got he's fishing with roe, you should, first off, because the vehicle that he was driving to the river is part of this crime because he didn't walk there, take the car away. Then go to the man's house, search his get on a warrant, search the house. If there's more,
They don't need a warrant. They're COs.
well, I'd like them to get
Yeah.
a warrant, Mark, because I'd really like them to show up and somebody do this. So go in their house. If they have if they have possession limit over what they're allowed to have in roe or walleye or ducks or anything else, because the poacher is a poacher, he didn't just stop at the salmon. I want you to take their house away. Right? Then I want you to take them to court. And when you're at court, I want you to charge them for theft because they've stolen for all of us. And then I want you to see how many people show up down that river and continue to do this. A $1,500 fine and a year's suspension to an angler is nothing. Nothing
And
at
that's
all.
just getting their charge with. You don't know what the final result
And I
after
think they
court
should do
is.
this for
Yeah.
everything. I think that if you shoot a deer out of season or jacklight one, that they should take the vehicle. I think that, I think that you should never get to hunt again. I don't think this is a right in Canada that you get to hunt. I think this is a privilege. And if you just stiffened up the fine, and here's the deal. I know the MNR is very underfunded, and I'm trying my best to help you guys by getting more people interested in hunting and fishing and to contribute. This is all I can do as, some guy in Port Hope. But I need you guys to do your job, and I need you to not back down in court, and I need you to stiffen up these fines, and I need you to make an example of a couple, and I need you to print their pictures on the internet so we all know who's doing this.
Yeah, there should be a page with public knowledge with all these people.
So
that are-
this is what's going to happen. They're going to shut down the river from fishing, and there's a couple kids, or 10 kids, or 2 kids, or 1 kid who's going to miss out, and that kid is going to have to go find something else to do, and I have a bad feeling that, it's probably going to be trouble.
right?
Yeah, it's not going to be as harmless as fishing.
No.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, why I don't
I
feel,
think we
why is
brought
everybody got to, why is there such disrespect for those fish?
Because they don't squeal.
That's the only conclusion I can come to.
We've talked about education. Is there a way, like hunters?
Here's
have
the
to take-
education. Take
Hunters
somebody
have
to
to take a
court, take their
course.
car, take their house.
Yes, but they still don't know how to fish properly.
Well, that's why we're making fishing videos. That's why other people make fishing and hunting videos.
Listen, if you're down there snagging fish,
You know you're
it's
wrong.
You know
You
you're
know
not.
it's
You
wrong.
know you're not doing it. They don't call it
No,
philosophy.
and we're not I'm not centering anybody. Like I see lots of guys with a couple $1,000 rod and reel and really nice pair of waders and jacket down there with a 9-foot lead, lynching them. I've sat there and watched them all. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing as somebody who really, really loves to fish. And even though I don't go down there very often, I bet you it's been 10 years since I fished above the CM bridge. I only ever go salmon fishing once. I think I went twice this year. I went once with you guys, and I went once down the river to drink my coffee. The week after we went, and my buddy Jimmy Parker, who helped me out when I was a kid, said, why don't you fish with me? And I said, I don't have a rod, and I don't have any bait. And then I said, oh, you know what? I might have a rod in the back, and I had the rod from when I was with you guys. And he said, you can use all my roe. And we caught fish for the day. Those are the only 2 times that I can remember going down there, and I don't have any time to go down there. But I feel that if they close this, that I like that I have the right to go down there and fish.
Mm-hmm.
That if I choose to go down there, I should be able to go down there. When I was a kid, Craig used to take me down there and cast little panther martins. We would catch brown trout and little rainbows, and that's the only fishing I had. I would go down there, and Craig would drive up and down Cavan Street, honking his horn after dark for me to get in the damn car.
Do you think there's going to be a negative economic impact if they close that down?
No, I don't think so.
Or do you think that all these people
Well,
just bring their own
I think
lines?
there's going to be a negative impact in all the other rivers if they shut the big one down. Bonneville's going to be flooded with people. Well, the
My
Wilmot,
backyard, wonderful.
right? And then what happens there? They take precedence here and they shut the Rose Rivers down.
Yeah, they're just pushing the problem off to other
Yeah.
municipalities.
Yeah.
This is the town of Port Hope's problem and the MNR's problem, which means it's partly my problem because I live in the town of Port Hope. But man, this is kind of like, well, there's murders in Canada, so we're going to ban all the guns. Well, that's not the answer to this.
You're going there, are you?
Yeah, well, do you know what I mean? Like, it's always somebody else's problem to deal with. There's always, we can't just get to the root cause. The root cause is that people make morally bad choices and they're not punished for it.
Agreed. The punishment's got to be
gotta fit the crime.
It's got to be substantial. It's got to be something that you're going
When
to say,
I was
whoa.
at Craig would threaten me that if you get caught snagging, if I ever catch you down there, an M&R officer is going to drive you home. He's going to take our house, and he's going to take everything I worked really hard for, and I'm going to beat you, and we're going to live on the streets.
What's that?
So I didn't snag, or I didn't, like, do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I really don't get it. I can't even understand. I don't know how to argue this. I totally think that the easy way out, and I've had moments where I was like, just shut it down. I'm sick of looking at this. I really think that they should shut down between Walton Street, the LCBO, and the CN tracks. Shut that down. That is the bottleneck. That is the real problem of all this, right in the heart of the Port Hope. But, man, I don't want them to close it down because I know there's some kid out there who doesn't have a voice who really needs that river. And when that kid's old enough to go fish somewhere else, there's going to be another couple kids who need that river.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
I'm sick of losing fishing spots because you're never getting this back.
Well, there's a big meeting at Town Hall coming up. Or is it a Town Hall, or is it, where is it? The Legion or Town Hall? Do you know?
It didn't say.
I would
It just
imagine
said
I will
on
find
the
out.
19th.
I don't think, if we don't have anything, I'm going to go
I
down
would
there and
assume
listen
it's
to
the
these
town
people.
hall.
I'm sick of lazy people. And here's the other thing, is that none of these people who are going to, or none of the councilors or mayor, they're not fishermen. They're not dealing with the fishing problems. I don't know anything about taxes. So I'm not the guy who should be like coming up with ideas to tax the town. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
Exactly what you're talking.
Yep.
Man, there's all kinds of ways we can make money with that river for the town of Port Hope. We have ridiculous property taxes in Port Hope. My property tax in this little crap hole is almost double of my mom's in the beaches in Toronto because we have nothing here. And, we have a beautiful river that holds thousands and thousands of fish, basically twice a year, once in the spring, once in the fall. And, man, just somebody do their job.
You should find out which counselor that is. Maybe engage them in a conversation. Talk about this.
So here's the big thing. The day that creepy mayor got in there, I went down there because who told you me to do this?
One of my clients.
I went down there. I sent an email with a resume, and he asked for this.
He asked for consulting.
And I wrote 10
position.
ways that they could make money off that river. And he never replied to my email and used 7 of them without any credit. So that's the kind of guy we're dealing with here. Can't fix the problems, can't even give anybody else credit. We can fix these problems. I'm telling you, even if the M&R doesn't want to do something, like I don't know, but like somebody could make signs, big signs that say, "Don't snag the fish." Like we got to do something. Like I've made videos on the past, and I take all kinds of dirty emails and stuff about them. But I don't know. Maybe we need to get a fishing board together or something to protect our river because I just feel it's a bad decision, and it just opens the floodgates to every community getting rid of their fishing problems this way.
Now, there is like a Ganaraska fisheries.
No, there's not.
No, they're not.
No, there's not. There's a Ganaraska conservation that has nothing to do with this.
They don't.
Nothing to do with this. They're stocking Atlantic and brook trout out of town. It's nothing to do with this. We have nobody standing up for our anglers. And I haven't seen the Ontario Federation of Anglers Hunters down here doing this either. I don't know.
Well, maybe they need a phone call too, because that's what they're supposed to be doing.
I believe that
our membership dollars.
I'm almost 100% that the gentleman who isn't supposed to be running all this stuff lives about 3 blocks from my house.
It's what the mayor?
No, from the Ontario Federation of Anglers and Hunters.
Oh yeah.
One of the counselors who lives around the street said that guy lives in town, and they have offered no real help.
Wow.
I could be wrong, but
I think we should reach out, get a conversation going.
There's nothing like, well, man, what does the M&R need? We can run M&R night.
Funding.
Maybe that's what we need. Maybe we need an M&R night at the East Hill Outdoors. You guys can all come out. I'll contact every sponsor that we can possibly find. We'll get a whole bunch of prizes. You guys all throw in some money on tickets, and we'll give the money to the M&R to prosecute somebody.
Don't we do that with our license money?
If anybody would like to do that, you let me know, and I will arrange that for next summer, so we're all geared up.
Email
for the fall.
Sean with your.
I will show up and I will MC it. Carrie, I'll get Carrie to get a new truck. We'll fire her up again. Let's raise the money, and we'll pay for some court fees if that's what it takes. I don't know what else to do.
They sold that truck.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they did.
That night, yeah.
Maybe we could use our commission to
the Bassett
to
True
nuke
Bass
somebody.
truck.
Yeah. I did sell that night.
What do you got, honey?
MCI on. Where am I? I'm on YouTube. I was there in September for salmon. Never saw an MNR or Port Hope Police. I would have loved to see them. Called on a few people and they came, but was under the impression it was, oh, we don't care.
Well, I hear that a lot. The Port Hope Police, I think, are doing their best job, but they only patrol the river on calls and overtime, I believe. The MNR, for what they have, are doing their best. I think that our hunting and fishing, not even our hunting and fishing, our fish and wildlife should be higher up the priority chain of Ontario. Mr. Doug Ford, we can't get these fish and animals back. We should be seriously putting money into parks, animals, fish, so that we have this forever. Because it's all of ours.
Yeah, it's one of our most precious natural resources, absolutely.
And when you screw it up, it's really hard to get them back.
Mm-hmm.
And we're blessed to have these because a lot of townships and a lot of countries don't.
It's not only salmon.
Yeah.
It's our bass, and it's our walleye, and it's our muskie, and it's our northern pike,
Well,
and it's our moose, and it's our deer.
economically, there's a lot of money that go through these sporting goods shops as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, you look at the Bass Pros, you look at the Sail, you look at the East Hill Outdoors, you look at the Canyon Sports. Like, there's a lot of money.
I would be in, and maybe people are going to get mad, but what if we had a tax on all outdoor goods? So if you bought a fishing rod and reel or a backpack or a new, maybe you add 1% to this. And maybe you add 1% to me and you add 1% to the store.
There is a tax that goes
Is
on
there?
there is a tax that goes on every sporting good item that actually goes back to.
There is?
Mm-hmm.
Is that for sure?
Buried in the price?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to see the numbers on this and where that money's actually going to. No, but that's what we should do. I think we need to raise money, or somehow, some way, figure this out, because this is an ongoing problem over and over again. That river, right? And there's probably 1,000 other problems here in every municipality that we just don't know about because nobody's told us yet.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you, this is not.
Well, it's going
the
to pop
only
up
one.
somewhere else.
What? It's not only this, man. I'm like, where's our moose? Who's managing our moose? And I've never been moose hunting in my life. This is purely my opinion.
I got lots of moose.
But here's my opinion. For some reason, I watch you hunting shows in Alaska, and they have to be giant bull moose, ginormous to be a legal moose, right?
Yeah,
I think it's
50
like
inch.
4 brow ties or on one side or 50 inches. Why aren't we managing our moose in Ontario like this? All I ever hear is people complain that there's no tags for moose and you can't get. Well, why are we shooting cows and calves?
See, yeah, that's my problem.
Why don't we all we need? There's at some point it's kind of like our deer camp where everybody sat down and they were like, "Listen, this may take 2 or 3 years, but we're going to start to manage this herd."
Your herd.
So why don't we manage these Ontario moose like this? Why don't we make some law? And I know there's going to be a lot of people who are against this, but we need to better look after this because you know what? If we managed our wild game like Alaska does, we'd have a ton of big moose and a ton of tags.
And a ton of tourists.
There's a lot of people spending big money shooting moose, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think there should be. The state of Michigan has if you show up with a 3.5-year-old deer instead of shooting a young one, you get like a orange hat, and you get a gift certificate, and you get a whole bunch of incentives to shoot more mature deer, so that the state is getting big deer because. Right? Why don't we have incentive programs? Right?
Is that hide for hats thing still going?
Yeah. East Hill does hides for hats. You could take the hide off a deer.
But there's not an incentive for somebody not to shoot a spiker and to shoot a 3.5 or a 4. Why don't you get let's say Mr. Crawford shot his deer. Why is somebody not sending him like a congratulations plaque or not like even a certificate, piece of paper? Manitoba does that for fish. You catch a fish over a certain amount, and the Manitoban government sends you a certified master angler certificate.
Oh yeah.
Well, we have the Boone and Crockett book, where if you
shoot a giant, right? But let's say you got I don't know. I'm just throwing ideas out here on how to make this a little more exciting and for.
But
people.
yeah, no, it's a great idea. Some sort of incentive for shooting, say, 120-inch deer and up.
Yeah, or you know what I mean? Like,
sure,
why isn't there incentives for guys to maybe not pull the trigger on this one to, maybe hold out and see what.
This is
think
what you can't forget, though. Some people are meat hunters.
That's right. So we shouldn't penalize the ones we can, but maybe we can swing. For some guys, let some deer walk, and or not shoot a doe, or do you know what I mean? Like, there's got to be ways that we can please everybody. I think anybody wants to shoot whatever they want is fine, but I think there should be incentives for people who choose to maybe manage Ontario's herd, right? Because they're all our deer. Just because they're on somebody's property doesn't make it any less mine. It's not the guy who owns the property's deer. That 160 is nobody's deer. It's everybody in Ontario owns a portion of that deer.
It's Rob's deer.
Don't fish my spot.
It's
and that's just my opinion, right? Like, we all own a share of that till you slap your tag on it.
Yep.
Then it's your deer.
Yeah. What do you boys think of the new fishing league coming in 2021?
The what?
Well, the new what is that
Professional,
National Professional
the
Fishing
HPL
League,
or whatever it is.
I think it's too
The
expensive.
National Professional Fishing League.
I think there's a ton of guys who are going to pay the entry fees, but how many series do we need for nobody to watch?
Yeah.
Right, like we're just.
I think they're getting back to basics, right? 3-day tournaments.
Yeah, but
$5,000.
Are you going to watch this?
No.
So.
Yeah, well, everybody's going to watch the first one.
Yeah, for sure.
It just like they did with the.
But what
MLF.
okay, so let's say the first one is on the same weekend as something else.
Everybody will follow it.
you think
Everybody
so?
will want to see it. Yeah, the first
I
one.
don't-
I'm sure
you'll
there'll
want
be
to see
some
it.
interest.
I don't think we're gonna.
Right, we talked about this last podcast.
I don't know if
where they
anybody's-
wanted to do the drive-by every vehicle, and we said it was going to be like a 6.5 to 8.5 hour weigh-in.
If some way they find a way to sign Brian Thrift and Scott Martin to this, people will watch it. Other than that, I think it's fourth place in the no matter what. I really think Bass is number one and is always going to be number one, no matter how much the rest of them. It is the NFL of fishing.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter who's fishing.
Yeah, you've seen what XFL tried to do with the NFL, right?
And here's my bet. I think that Bass has such a grasp on this whole tournament deal. If you took everybody in the Elite Series last year and kicked them off and went and got 75 guys who nobody knew, Bass would still be number one. I don't think that anybody like this what has happened at MLF and all the other series in the United States has totally changed my mind that there is nobody bigger than Bass. There is no name in fishing bigger than the Bassmasters.
True.
It's mind blowing, but it is told the proof is in the pudding. I don't think MLF can't compete with them. I don't think MLF by an FLW is going to compete with them.
No.
I'm probably not going to the Forest or whatever the cup is called. I'm going to the Bassmaster Classic though.
There is no Forest Wood.
I really care who wins the Bassmaster Classic. The only thing I have upset is that when we go to the Classic this year, Ike's not going to be there and Swindle's not going to be there, and
they're not going to be at the booth.
Well, they're not going to be fishing it.
No,
I can't. I want to see. So even when Mike has a terrible year, and I talked about this on the last one, Mike somehow pulls it together at the Classic. I think he made 19 of them in a row. Has a big weekend.
And he's always top 10 of the Classic.
Well, I don't think I've ever been with one he wasn't. I want to go and I want to cheer on Brandon Polnick because he's my buddy and I really want to see Brandon win a Bassmaster Classic. I secretly want to root for Gerald Swindle because he's never won one to pull this off. I want to sit in the crowd and go, I hope Kevin doesn't win another one of these. Like, this is what I like to do. And I'm going to the Classic this year. I'm excited for the Classic this year. I'm excited to cheer on Chris and Corey and Gussie. But there's a piece of me who's going to be like, man, I wish those other guys were here too.
Yeah.
We need to bring Canadian flags down with us.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I got a couple of them.
Yeah.
Yep. Chris Flay wants to know
excited.
if you think that Thrift and Martin will fish the Opens to qualify for the Elites.
I think that if Thrift and Martins went to Bassmaster right now, that they'd let them fish. I think they'd be crazy to say no to them. And anybody who's like, well, they got to qualify. Well, there's a ton of guys last year who didn't qualify who got to fish the Bassmaster Elite Series.
Yep.
And it's their series, and they can make the rules any way they'd like. You know what? Roland Martin's won enough tournaments in his life to get his kid in there.
Did I miss something? What's with Thrift and Martins?
Well, the FLW has been bought by MLF, which means Scott Martin and Brian Thrift being, I believe, the number one angler in the world, will have to fish on like the B series.
Yeah, there's all because all of a sudden they became the second tier.
Oh.
Right.
And those two are hammers. Scott Martin's got probably one of the best social medias in all of fishing.
He's the most followed guy in all of fishing, is he not?
So I would think that if they went and said that they wanted to fish bass, that I think that bass would be crazy not to take those two. I have a secret, like I've got to meet Scott a couple times. He told us at the Classic he'd do show 100.
Yep.
He did show number 2. I stay up at night sometimes and watch Scott Martin vlog. I really enjoy Scott's content and kind of.
The dogs like it too.
Yeah, Scott is.
He's good at what he does.
He can sell you something openly, and you don't feel dirty about it. I think he's the only one that can do. If I went on the FearFishing vlog and sold stuff like people would be mad. But Scott just does it in a way that it's kind of like, oh, I'm going to check that out. He's really good at his job, like really, really good at his job, and I enjoy watching it. Sorry, Mark.
There we go.
I really enjoy it. I like Scott's vlog. I mean, I'm said it. I hope he does show 100. I mean, 6 more.
That's in 12 weeks, by the way. This is show 94.
I have Scott Martin's cell phone number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You better call him.
I do have it. I texted him a couple times.
Doug Crawford wants to know who your favorite bass fisherman is.
I have a
Sean
couple.
McCall.
Shut your mouth.
I think I have. I think I have quite a few different ones. It depends on. Like, I'm not going to say that I have one guy. I'm going to say that I have a bunch of guys that I really respect, and I really respect them for different reasons. I think if there was no Mike Iaconelli, that there would be no Fear Fishing. I think that anybody who wears a flat brim hat and has tattoos in fishing has to thank Mike Iaconelli. I think he's a downright. Anytime that I've had a conversation with Mike outside, like in person, he's the nicest guy in the world, and he really, really, really cares about kids fishing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I really cheer on Brandon Polnick.
Mm-hmm.
He just texted me about the poppy. He's such a good dude. But the thing about Brandon when you watch Brandon's vlogs, or you watch Brandon on the Daiwa USA Instagram, or you watch
B&P Fishing,
Brandon Polnick, when he texts you, is the exact same person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I really, really enjoyed that when we met him at the Classic.
When I met his girlfriend.
Yeah, like he's the exact same person.
Like,
he's very.
I met Brandon Polnick.
Yeah. So he's that person. I like Chad Pipkins. I like cheering on Chad. I like cheering on Chris and Corey. Corey more than Chris, but attaboy. Who else? You have to
Chad?
respect. You have to respect
Seth.
He's Seth. You have to respect Kevin Van Dam, but Kevin doesn't really relate to my style of fishing or my style of life. I don't have like some deep connection with Kevin, but I respect him as I would Wayne Gretzky.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
When I was growing up, I really liked Sergei Fedorov and Pavel Bure, but I have a lot of respect for Wayne Gretzky as the greatest player of all time. Does that kind of make sense?
Absolutely.
I really like Swindle, and I root for him as I guess as an underdog to either win an elite event or to win a Bassmaster Classic, because I really like Gerald's personality. He was super nice.
I love his speeches on stage. They're just the best.
I like his Instagram. I like following him. I like how honest he is. I like that he shouts out bait companies that he isn't sponsored by, because that's being honest. I like his passion for the sport. I like that. Like how can you not cheer for a guy who gave you his passes for that we could sit in the front row of the Bassmaster Classic?
Yeah, he was a beauty.
So I think there's a whole bunch of anglers that I respect in a different, but I once heard Brandon say on Bass Talk Live that his goal, and he really thought that he could win every event that he fishes, so I just pick Brandon every week. Makes it easier. But yeah, that's the Brandon Polnick, and you can't say this about very many people. And even though Brandon's younger than me, I've asked Brandon some pretty tough questions about being the Fear Fishing guy and how to deal with this. And if Brandon's told me that if you're just Ian West all the time, there's nothing to worry about. Whether you do it on your podcast, or you do it on the vlog, or you do it in person, or you do it at home when nobody's around, if you're just Ian West, then you don't have to think about anything. You're just sneaking west.
Well, I'm just Sean McCall.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
though?
yeah.
But I'm not going to name these out, but there's some guys that I've met in person who aren't such great guys.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. there's a few
And
of them out
that's
there.
really, really disappointing, right? Because you see them on their social media or their YouTube channel or their fishing show,
They're full of shit.
and then you meet them in person and they don't have
yeah.
5 minutes to talk to you.
Yeah. 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 It's disappointing.
The BP waited for how long for me to get those beers?
Oh, like 15 minutes at least. I'm like, wait here. He's going to die.
He's a good dude. Super, super nice guy. And he's a very straight shooter.
Good.
Yeah. So,
Tiffany's pretty cool, too. Just saying.
yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys chat too?
Yep, once in a while.
Yeah.
We got any more questions? Are we deep into this?
Well,
Do we have-
while we're on the topic, Chris Flay just said if you get a chance to listen to Luke Duncan's podcast with Andrew Upshaw, he's going to fish the opens and try to qualify for the elites. He really breaks down the whole FLW MLF situation, so that might be something to.
Yeah, well, I'll check that out. Make sure you save that somewhere. Is that on our
Yep.
Facebook?
Yep.
I'll check that out for sure.
Yeah.
Somebody's mentioned that Ike will be there at the Classic. He
Oh,
won
for
an
sure he will.
open.
No, he won't.
And we already discussed
He,
that.
he won
No,
an
you gotta
open,
fish all
but he
4
didn't
events.
fish all events, so
Yeah.
he does not qualify to fish Classic. I'm sure all those guys are going to be there. They're just not going to be fishing.
I don't think all of them will be there. I think some guys
Some of
don't
them.
want to be there. They won't be there.
I think the people I listed will be there. I don't know, but I'm just guessing.
We're hoping.
I
Here's
think
another
that
thing.
didn't-
Here's another thing I'm going to throw it here. This week, when I was talking to the BP, I'm not a huge country fan, but everybody give a listen to the new Luke Combs record. I was
Oh, it's
jamming.
awesome.
It is really good. So BP is friends with. I'm honest to God didn't know who the guy was, and I never.
Are you
listened to-
kidding me?
I had no idea.
I don't know either. I'm pretty
So,
sure Emma
I'm
does,
gonna
though.
kick you in the nuts under the table right
Emma
now.
was really excited when
You're
she
gonna
found
need 2
out.
feet because I have
So
no idea.
I was
I can't
like,
kick you in the nuts.
I
You're
was
in your
like-
wife's purse.
the next time we go out with Joan, just kick the purse.
Yeah. Right.
So I was talking to Brandon, and he made a post about it, and I was like, I looked him up on iTunes, and we have the Apple Music, and I was jamming with it with Ash, and I was like, you know what? I'm not a huge country fan, but this is some really good stuff. So I messaged Brandon, and I was like, I really dug the Luke Combs. I listened to the record on our way to deer camp, and he's like, you never heard of Luke before? He's like, I know Luke. And so Brandon got like a package from Sony Music with like Luke Combs signed Crocs and the new album and a bunch of
Signed
other
Crocs.
stuff.
Signed
He got
Crocs,
signed
yeah.
camel
Drooling.
Crocs. He got signed camel Crocs. So I really enjoyed the record and just giving him a plug there. But when I came home, I asked Emma, do you know who Luke Combs is? And she was like, yeah, he's like my favorite singer. And I was like, I know somebody who knows him. And she was like, well, she's just beside herself. So yeah, 6 cents of
Dropping
bacon.
names.
6 cents of
Yeah.
bacon.
Nah.
But yeah, I really enjoyed the record. I bet you that was the most of one country record I've ever listened to in my life. And Ashton and I were running around the house, and Emma was here doing the like a hurricane.
I don't even know what that means.
No,
but-
me neither.
You should listen to it on your radio.
Watch
It's
it.
really good.
Listen it.
We got any more, or can we wrap this up?
Um,
This is a busy show.
Yeah, Gavin McNamara.
You know what? Yeah, go ahead.
Gavin McNamara just sent through a message. Said,
He just texted me.
yeah. We were chatting this morning. I gave him some advice there about running his bait piles and stuff, and he just said, "Good luck tomorrow." I'm heading to deer camp tomorrow with
Nice.
with 8 of my
Yeah,
closest
you
hunting
are.
buddies, and
Awesome, man.
We're going for the rest of the week. So
Good luck, man. I hope you get a giant.
yeah, me too. I got a really nice 10-pointer coming in right now. That would be
Yeah, you
pretty
do.
good to
Still,
capitalize on, but we'll see. Got to be patient. I think it's a late season deal with him. He's pretty nocturnal right now.
You'll get them.
anybody got final thought?
Oh, geez, I always. My turn first.
Yeah.
Hope everybody took the time to remember our fallen soldiers and all those guys that and women who served, not necessarily past, but and
You know what?
Slow down on the snow. That's all I gotta say. We've seen some pretty bonehead moves today. Not necessary.
Oh, slow down.
Yeah.
Driving in the snow.
Your snow tires aren't miracles. They're just snow tires. They're not going to save your life. Well, they help, but you know what I mean. Just slow down. Slow down. That's all I got to say. Slow.
Mr.
down.
McCall.
Final thought?
Yeah.
I just there's one more week of gun season out there, like rifle and shotgun. Just everybody be safe.
Yes.
Always make sure that your firearm is unloaded when you get into a vehicle or onto your wheeler. Make sure after dark you have it in a gun sock or a case. You know, we have the M&R frequent our camp. They come in and check it out.
We had them visit too.
Yeah, we've had some poachers on our property, and now they come around and they check on us and stuff.
That's
So
nice.
it's always important to gun safety is the most important thing. During these 2
Absolutely.
weeks. That's it.
Did you get one?
I did.
You've had 2 weeks.
I do.
Oh.
I spent the weekend with my mom and my sister-in-laws shopping in the States, and we had a really good time. And I just remember probably about 3 or 4 years that my mom would ask me over and over again, come shopping, come shopping, come shopping. And I never did. And I am so glad I finally said yes, because that's the time that you need to spend learning after my grandmother passed that I wish I spent more time with her. I wish I played more cards with her.
Well, that's going to be kind of mine too.
Yeah.
Can you and I jump in here?
Sure, yeah.
We had to put poor Montana down last November 1st. It's the hardest thing I've ever done in my whole life. I never cried so much in my entire life. I had that dog. I bought her with the first time I got a real job. I bought her with my first paycheck. I bought her from Hammer, Ontario. I found an English setter breeder online because when I was a kid, I used to watch TNN Outdoors and I always wanted a bird dog. So the first opportunity I had some real money, I ordered that dog. And she, I had her, 22 years old. I got her on September 28th with my first paycheck. I had that dog till last week. I did everything with that dog. When I was, had hard times in my life and I didn't have anybody, I had my dog. And I had to go down there and rub her little head with a gem needle on her arm. And I'm telling you that you kind of think that everything's going to last forever until it's not there anymore. So as much as we like to have fun, if you ever thought about going hunting, I'd go start doing it tomorrow. I mean, if you thought about being closer with your dad or your brother, I'd give them a call right now, because you don't want it to be, one day too late. It's really tough. It's been a super tough week around here. And, time is the most precious thing on earth, and make the most of it. Whatever you like to do, even if hunting fishing isn't number one, just make the most of it. And make sure pet the dog every day. Say, I love you to the kids. Yeah, I got to give Ashton trouble last night. I made sure I went into his room before he went to sleep and told him I loved him and I was really proud of him. I did the same for Emma. So there's just, time's really short. And there's no worse feeling in the whole world when you know this is the end and there's nothing you can do to change this. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. This is the hardest thing I ever did. I never in my whole life came home, I thought I made the biggest mistake. And, this is like my kid.
Been there, buddy. It sucks.
It is the worst feeling in the whole world. And, I don't know. Just make the most of everything. I'm telling you, being a good person and saying hello to people, it'll never steer you down the wrong trail. Just be a good dude or a good girl. That's it. That's what I want to say. That's the moral of the whole story. Do you know that when it's my time to go, I just want to look back, and I hope I inspired some people to try something new. And, if 1,000 people one day said hello to somebody who they weren't going to say hello to because you listened to this or watched a vlog or something, that'd make me a really proud person. Woody, give us something big.
That was super deep.
Hey, that's why I jumped in front of you. Usually you got really, really good ones, so good luck.
Yeah, if you're going to start your sentence with you people, just shut it down, because nothing beyond that's good.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen. It's all over.
Fear fishing, making moves.